Mastercast Radio.
Yes, it's another episode of Mastercast Radio. I am your host, Andrew Rosa. Thank you for listening. And to my regular listeners, I am very sorry for the delay. It has been a bit since my last podcast, but I just really wanted to mow through the Die Hard arcade video. That actually took a bit more time than I expected. It's weird because I love the fucking game a lot. Like, it's one of my favorite beat-em-ups. It's just an amazing game, but it's, I don't know why. I found it very difficult to write a review for it. Like, the last time I had reviewed Die Hard Arcade, back when I was still running my life with Sega, it came easier to me for whatever reason, but I figured there's a bad reason for that, because really I don't like that video at all. It just wasn't as detailed as I would have liked, in retrospect. But, what do? You grin, you bear it, and you correct your mistakes whenever possible. Yep, I know. Erica just clinched a little bit. If she's listening to this in the car, she totally clinched because she could hear me slurping my coffee. Watch. That's some good shit. All right. Okay, what has been going on with Mastercast TV? Not a whole hell of a lot since I've been working on Die Hard Arcade, because again, you want to focus on one project, although I found that very difficult because if you've noticed throughout this month, I've done greeting videos where they're kind of like gags, where you have the spaceship battle, which has now become the new intro for Mastercast TV. Then you have, pardon me, the whole thing with Alien Trilogy on 32X, which still makes me giggle. I feel bad because some people were like, oh my God, really? Like, you have Alien Trilogy on 32X? I didn't realize they made it that far. If only. That would have been fucking awesome. But yeah, I've done that. And of course, I recycled one of my videos from My Life with Sega. Once again, this time it was Batman Forever for the Sega Genesis, as well as the Sega Saturn. And that was one of my later videos, so it was easier to kind of pull it and go, you know what, I agree with everything that I said. I like the presentation. I feel I can rebrand that. I really didn't think I would do that again after Snatcher, but just going through my videos, because I just felt as if I was desperate for content, I'm like, you know what, that one is actually pretty good. I like these two videos. I was tempted to do the two-man scrambles as well, but I don't know. I just find that funky, because there you actually see a lot of my room, those two-man scrambles. You see what my room used to look like, and I just found that kind of disorienting. I'm like, nah, that's bad. I'm not recycling those, which is a shame, because I feel our Batman Forever arcade game playthrough, our original playthrough, was much better, because we really made it all the way to the Riddler, and Mickey Mac had a really impressive display. For someone who hadn't played the game before, didn't have the practice that I had, he made it all the way to the fucking end, and he was so close to taking on the fucking Riddler, but it just didn't happen. Such a shame. Oh, yeah. That's my coffee. It tastes so good. I don't know why I got all weird there. But other updates. Something else I've been working on, and this is going to be a kind of fill-in series, because I'm looking to put Mastercast TV on hiatus for a bit, just so I could build up a catalog of episodes, then release them a certain time each week. Like every Monday you get a new Mastercast TV, or really like every other Monday. And filling in between then would be beating one up and a new web series, because again, I can't really count on Mickey Mac. It's not that I can't count on him like he's a fucking slacker or something. It's just that he has a life. He has a job. He's still mending from his fucking leg. I can't have him over all the fucking time to record two-man scrambles. So that's what I mean. It's just that he's busy and in pain. But between episodes of Mastercast TV, I'll run Beating One Up because I can pump those out fairly quickly. I'm not having to write a review, record a narration, then cut my footage to match what the hell it is I'm saying. So Beating One Up can fill in the gaps between episodes of Mastercast TV. Then, of course, Mastercast Radio. But I want to do a new series. I haven't seen these videos pop up very much. Not to say they aren't out there, and who knows? There's probably some really popular motherfuckers that have done these sorts of videos. But this one I wanted to do for myself. Once again, it's going to be Sega-centric. But it's going to be called Andy Cheats. And I'm just going to show some of my favorite cheat codes from various Sega games. The first episode, I've already collected all the footage for it. As far as how it's going to be presented, clearly it's going to be a video. Because, for me, that's the whole point. The reason I want to do this series, other than that I think it's fun, and I don't think a whole lot of people do it, is that I don't know how often, like, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but if you ever go to game FAQs, or game facts if you prefer, I really don't give a shit, you look at a code, you try to perform that code, and it's like, wow, what am I doing wrong? Some codes are very, very easy. Some are kind of difficult, like trying to get the timing for one code in particular, Cosmic Carnage on the 32X. Like, if you read the code, it says, hold down X, B, and Z, then press start during that opening copyright screen. I've done that numerous times, and it's never worked. I think it worked once. Like, the timing just had to be fucking perfect. But finally, what I did, I just held down X, B, and Z before even turning on the power. And then I pressed start during that screen, and boom, I got the Japanese version of the game, Cyber Brawl, which is one of my favorite cheat codes. But I'm going to be doing that in Andy Cheats. I would just like to do kind of like my own. If you remember Tips and Tricks magazine at all from years back, I love that sort of shit because I found that their codes were the most reliable. That, and they had great articles. Every now and then they'd have something in the back where they would talk about imports coming this way and so on and so forth. And they also had the Room of Doom, like at the back of the magazine. They would have this whole thing about the Room of Doom, and somebody would send in a picture of their room, their collection, and everything like that. Then there would be a brief bit of text talking about the person who had sent in the picture, some of the gems they had added to their collection, so on. That was cool. I love that sort of thing. So I love Tips and Tricks magazine. So this is going to be my version of Tips and Tricks magazine. But yeah, I would like to do that series as well. The first 3 games, I'm not going to tell you all of them. Already I've told you one. That's going to be Cosmic Carnage. The other 2 are just fun because it's funny. I've still come across people that are like, I didn't even realize that there were codes. And I think a lot of that is because they're younger, because they're used to playing next gen games, next gen titles, where there really aren't that much in the way of codes. Not these days at least. It doesn't seem that way. For like games like PS3, 360, shit like that. I mean, you may have some hidden stuff here and there, but really it's not like you're sitting there going, where's the level select code? That sort of thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't play enough modern games. But so often I'll go and look for codes for, newer titles, and I'm just like, I can't find shit. What the fuck, man? But what are you going to do? But that's something I do have in mind. Just to try and give Mastercast TV some structure so that I can take a little break in between episodes and not feel as if I have to rush to get content out. And in between doing Beating One Up and Andy Cheats. So I think that's going to be a good format. It's something that I remember Barry trying to get me to try while I was still with SegaBits.com. He's like, you know what, let's keep these like on a regular schedule. We'll release them at this time and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but it's fucking done. Let's go ahead and put it out now. Why make people wait? That's always been a hard mentality to, put aside. But, well, I can't help it. at least I'm going to try and help that, because I do need time to make my videos, at least to make them as good as I want them to be. I don't want to, look back 3 years from now and be like, oh man, that video sucked. What the fuck was I thinking? I was proud of that shit. I don't want to go through that. But anyway, that's pretty much it for updates on Mastercast TV. So Mastercast TV will have a traditional, almost like a TV network schedule. Episodes will come out a certain day of the week at a certain time. And we'll have Beating One Up and Andy Cheats in between. As well as Two-Man Scramble, whenever I can get those done. And yes, the Die Hard arcade video is now out, kicking ass so far, thanks to some of my devoted viewers sharing the video, which is very, very cool. It's always nice to find that you have shit that's worth sharing. But, big shout out to Saturn Memories. I know he's always a big supporter of Sega channels and shit like that. You're really an awesome dude, and I do appreciate it. Especially if it's something Saturn related. I know how to get into his pants. It's all about the Saturn, man. Which is fine. I love the Saturn. I know in October I plan to make it a pretty Saturn-centric month. Just because it has some of my favorite horror titles. And I would like to do horror games for October. I know 2 of them are going to be repeaters. Not so much that I'm taking My Life with Sega episodes and rebranding them. No, I'm going to do brand new reviews for these games. And they're going to be D and Deep Fear. But I'm also going to review Enemy Zero. Like, I had wanted to review Enemy Zero after D. Just to continue the celebration of Kenji Ino's life, because he had died shortly before I did that D review. And I wanted to do both of his Saturn games, and he had D and Enemy Zero. Enemy Zero was actually a Sega Saturn exclusive, if I remember correctly, until they released it on the PC. I think they actually came out at the same time, but as far as a game console is concerned, it's pretty much Saturn exclusive. But yes, there is a PC version, if I remember correctly. I wanted to do that, but after having played the game, I was like, this is way too fucking hard. I can't get the grips with this motherfucker. I can't see my goddamn enemy. It's a novel concept, and it's not a bad one. It's just that, okay, so you're going to limit how many times I can save. Great. And you're going to limit how many times I can fire. It's not as if you can blind fire into a fucking hallway when you hear a little beep go off on your radar. No, you have to charge your fucking weapon and hope that the enemy is close to you and in front of you to pull the trigger. And if you dare miss, you're kind of fucked. It's a one-hit kill kind of game. At least that's how I remember it the last time I played it, which was, I want to say, like 4 or 5 months ago. And I just couldn't do it. I didn't get very far at all in Enemy Zero. And I played the training disc because that's like a 4-disc game. And the 4th disc is basically just training. And that's okay. And I'm grateful. And it did help. But there's just something about the response time, like trying to charge the weapon and trying to figure out the sounds, because you really have to memorize the sounds. Like, okay, that means it's only so far away. Because in the training disc, it gives you the training mode, which gives you like this kind of construct version of, like a hallway, like something out of the fucking Matrix. And it gives you a blaster, and you can charge it and fire it, and it mimics how your blaster will fire in the real game. So the thing is that first it gives you a visual representation with the sound to match. So that way you can memorize where your enemy is when it makes this particular sound. Like, oh, when it makes this sound, it's in front of you. When it makes this sound, it's behind you. So on and so forth. That's cool. But the response time makes it very difficult. And it feels as if you have to be far too precise in order to execute these kind of moves, and it's a pain in the ass. If it weren't for the if it weren't for the fact that the game's fascinating to me, I wouldn't even try it. You know, if it didn't have anything to do with Kenji Eno, and if it wasn't a Saturn game, I probably wouldn't play it at all. I'm not entirely sure I would. Oh God. But yeah, that's the updates for now. And that's what I have going for October. So let's just go ahead and check out what was said on the last video, because if you're at all new to Mastercast Radio, I always respond to comments, and this is how I decide to respond to them. Every now and then I'll leave a written comment and, you know, have fun like that, but not this time. You know, let's see here. This seems like a new viewer. I'm seeing this name more and more now. Maybe he's just more chatty now that he's gotten to see more of my videos and shit like that, which is cool. Okay. On the last video, and the last video was, damn, what was the title? I'm fucking blanking. I'm not prepared. I'm not very well prepared today. Talking beat 'em ups, reinvention, and responses. That was the last video. And I'm going to start with the first comment here. I'm not really sure how to say this name. Oaihy. Oh, hey? Maybe. A hi. A hi, Mark. I don't know why I had to make a reference to The Room. Such a terrible fucking movie. Pardon me. But he says, you're missing a disc in Panzer Dragoon Saga. I made a joke that if you caught the movie reference I had made at the beginning of that episode, you would get a free copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga. And I had mentioned you'd get all 3 discs if you play the game. It actually has 4 discs. So I screwed up there. I just told him, I know. That's what I get for rambling. Screwed up. Yeah, he's like, LOL. I got mine out to check it. I terrified the poor bastard. He's like, it was 4, wasn't it? Sega Stupid, one of my viewers, he writes, I'm going to add one more to the mix for movie licensed games. That's what he's referring to. I'm going to add one more to the mix. Bloodsport. Why wasn't that a game? I want to get powder in my eyes and scream at the camera on my Sega Mega Drive. Damn it. And this is cool. A few of my viewers got in on this, and they started going back and forth, which is cool. Acidonia 150, welcome. Writes to Sega Stupid. Mortal Kombat started out as that, but changed due to not being able to hire the. I'm sorry, some of the spelling is questionable. Not due to not begin able to hire the actors for the movie due to all the work they was doing at the time. Sega Stupid replies, yeah, I've heard that before. I think Johnny Cage was supposed to be Jean-Claude, if I'm not mistaken. And Acidonia replies, I think so. That and Midway was big fans of martial arts and 80s action movies in general. Darth Sarkin jumps in and says, was that actually the plan, or was it simply inspired by the movie? I knew Jean-Claude Van Damme was asked about it, not sure about the other actors. I know Tobias said it was a major influence for him. Acidonia, I think it was because they liked the art style of Pit Fighter and wanted to make their own version of it. Okay, that's fun. I remember hearing a lot about that, how they wanted to get real actors in Mortal Kombat, but it just didn't work out, either due to scheduling or, nobody wanted to pay. I know during that time, oh boy, I think that's when Jean-Claude Van Damme had a lot of issues, like personal issues going on at that time, and I think he started believing his own press by the time they were doing Mortal Kombat. I think every big action star goes through this kind of inflated head syndrome. Like Sylvester Stallone. I love Sylvester Stallone like you wouldn't fucking believe. Like, I have gushed about him plenty of times in all these videos and podcasts and shit. But, like, even during Cobra, from what I've read, he went through, like, a big head syndrome. Like, he had just married Bridget Nielsen, I think. And basically that was when it was like Stallone could do no wrong. Every movie he made was like a hit. So he kind of got full of himself during that production. And I read a funny story where the director of photography, Rick Way, actually put that man in his place, and he wasn't fired. Like, Stallone was just kind of taken aback, but he kind of toned his shit down for 2 weeks, but then he went right back to it. And then shortly thereafter, I think that's when Bridget Nielsen cheated on Sylvester Stallone with Tony Scott, and then it all shifted. Like, since then, I've heard nothing but great stories about him on film productions, with the exception of Judge Dredd. I heard he was a pain in the ass. Only because he had his own ideas as to what Judge Dredd the movie should be. Like, he liked the idea of taking off the helmet. And the movie was supposed to be R, but if I remember correctly, the studio was trying to downplay it. Like, guys, can't we make this more of a PG-13? But it just had a lot of problems. I know the director of Judge Dredd said he wanted nothing to do with another big-name action star. And if I remember correctly, he never had anything to do with another big-name action star after that movie. So I wonder. But I've heard stories of more troubled productions like Demolition Man and Tango and Cash. And directors had a lot of issues on those pictures. But from what I've read, a lot of them loved Sylvester Stallone because he tended to be more of an aid than a hindrance. So I think he grew up at one point. Just kind of got past it. But let's see here. More responses. Mastercast, TV, YouTube. Oh, hey, Saturn Memories. All right. I had mentioned how in Die Hard Trilogy you could use the 3D arcade pad for Die Hard with a Vengeance, the driving portion of the game. And he wrote, yep, if a game's compatible with the wheel, it'll work with the 3D pad, even if the game predates the pad's production. In fact, any game designed to work with an analog peripheral, such as the mission stick, seems to work with the pad to some extent. I wrote back on this one, because this one actually got me curious, he says. I wrote, yeah, but I think you were the guy that told Liam way back when. Hey, I've tried using the 3D analog pad with Panzer Dragoon 2 and always sets off the special attack randomly throughout my game. I haven't been able to explain it. Is that a controller problem, i.e. it's broken, or a game problem, i.e. the game will do whenever you use the controller. Do that whenever you use the controller. He writes, as far as why goes, I'm not sure, but it could have something to do with me. With the extended control options, Vi was designed to work with up to 2 linked mission sticks. I forgot about that, actually. Essentially functioning as twin sticks. It could be causing some sort of conflict. That's interesting. I would like to get another, because I have one of those sticks. I need to get another one. I'm really tempted to try that. Then we got, thanks, Saturn Memories. You're always awesome. And Pedro Silva, I'm sorry, or Sevilla. No, not Sevilla. There's no I after that L. That's bullshit. All right, Pedro Silva. We were talking a bit about how we joined different, like Sega enthusiast pages and shit like that. And Pedro would I had nothing negative to say about Sega Bits. Not one negative thing. I love SegaBits.com. It was a great place to be. But Pedro had the opposite reaction when he was once involved with a page, it seems. He says, I joined a group like Sega Bits and talk about a waste of time. The Brazilian YouTube community have 99% of some asshole just playing some game, a lot of cursing and screaming, and a retarded face on the thumbnail. Zero information, and it's done. They think it's enough, and it seems only this kind of shit has future. I studied and worked with video production, and basically they do everything what we are not supposed to do, and now it's the trend. On games based on films, there was a time I was thinking on Sega doing Bloodsport, but the kind of thing only them could do. It would be a perfect game on the Model 2 arcade era, and also Leon as a stealth/action as a headhunter based on a city map. That would be awesome. I'd go with that. I don't remember playing Headhunter, so I can't really talk about that one. Shame. I would like to, but I haven't played Headhunter in like forever. I can't remember to save my life. I'm sorry you had a poor experience. I really can't. I don't know anything about the Brazilian YouTube community. I mean, that sounds kind of shitty, but at the same time, that sounds like a lot of American channels. I mean, I don't feel like you're alone, man. Brazil does not, it does not have the monopoly on that sort of shit, because I've seen so many videos, and every now and then I wonder if I just suck, or maybe I just overthink shit, or maybe I'm just really poor at marketing. Maybe it's a combination of all three. Who fucking knows? But I've seen so many videos where they have like thousands and thousands of subscribers and tons of views and shit. They also have a shit ton of negative ones, but still, I've seen a lot of videos where it's a talking head in front of a collection of games that they've acquired over time and what have you, and with nice shelving and all that kind of crap. And sad to say, it's generally a white dude wearing like a sideways baseball cap and, trying to look hip from 1990. And it's clear they have what they're going to say rehearsed, and it just sounds wooden, like it sounds very stilted. Or stunted, but no, stilted. I think stilted's right. It's very shaky, and they'll do this stuff. And we also have I'm sure that's okay for some folks, but really, I don't like those kind of videos because they're everywhere. It's one of the reasons why I'm never like in front of the camera, except for when I do my Let's Plays, because half of the fun is seeing me get pissed off at a fucking game. But yeah, I mean, that's like a lot of them. And like, don't get me wrong, Alpha Omega Sin seems like a perfectly nice guy, but I can't watch his videos because just so often, like his response videos, like he'll just stand up and bitch about something. And this is the thing. So oftentimes I agree with him. Like when he was talking about Ghostbusters, for instance, I agreed with his stance. So like, it has nothing to do with the chicks. It has to do with the fact that the movie doesn't look good. And, it's not a fucking surprise. We've a lot of YouTubers have come out to say this recently when defending their negative opinion of the new Ghostbusters film, because it's like just basing it from the trailer, it looks like ass. It has nothing to do with the fucking gender. It's just that it looks like a shitty movie. That's the problem. The ghosts look like something out of the fucking Haunted Mansion movie, the one with Eddie Murphy. A lot of people have started to say that, and it's true. I mean, I look at it, I'm like, damn, why do people think all ghosts look blue now? There was a more ethereal look to them in the first one. Like if they were an entity, they were either like green, like Slimer, or they had this kind of white purplish hue. Yeah, they looked, like I said, ethereal. It had this kind of quality to it, almost angelic, but the entity itself was disgusting, like that fucking library monster. Yeah, when she's the librarian, she looks fine, but once she goes monster, once she goes full monster, it just goes right out the fucking window. And you're like, whoa, shit! Still maintains that kind of color scheme, again, that ethereal quality, as I say, but yeah, but that's a lot of channels like that, and Alpha Omega Sin is very similar, except that I feel he's a better speaker than a lot of those other videos I've watched. And the only thing is that he's so fucking negative. It actually brings me down. And it's not faux negative. It's not like the Angry Video Game Nerd, where a lot of it is embellished just for comedic sake. Alpha Omega Sin just looks as if he suffers from high blood pressure. It's like, dude, you're gonna have a fucking heart attack. Is this really how angry you fucking get about shit? I don't know how you can maintain that shit for like 15 minutes. Like before it was over, I'd have to down like 3 cups of coffee before I can get worked up like that. And then it'd have to be something fucking serious. As stupid as I think people are, and clearly he thinks a lot of people are stupid, and I agree. I do think a lot of people are stupid. Fucking moronic. It's like I remember one time, I had a couple of friends, both of which used to work at Blockbuster, and one of the things that they hated was whenever they wore their uniform out, like say they had a break and they went over to, I don't know, Safeway or some fucking market to grab food or what have you, or Target. Target was a big offender, and somebody would be like, yeah, do you work here? Now, if you go shopping at all, in Target, they all wear red shirts and khakis. That's pretty much the opposite with Blockbuster. It was a blue shirt with a little yellow logo for Blockbuster, and maybe khakis. I've seen people go back and forth. It's like their pants were flexible. Their shirt, though, it's always like a blue polo. Target, not the same color at all. In fact, it's the fucking inversion. So it's like, what the fuck happened, man? People are clearly stupid. It's like they don't think before they speak. It's dangerous. Hell, I do that myself, so I guess I can't criticize too much. But yeah, Pedro, don't feel bad. Don't feel like Brazil is the only place that does that shit. We do it too. The Americans do it just as much. Hell, even the English do it too. And I'm sure they have their own problems. I'm sure if I were to pull Sega of my house aside and be like, all right, dude, tell me, what is it like, English channels? Because I don't sit there on YouTube going, English gamers, like I just look for gameplay. I don't give a fuck what nationality you are. Especially nowadays, since a lot of people can use captioning. But like if you speak a language entirely foreign to me, like if you have captioning, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I can watch subtitles. But yeah, they all, but all nations suffer from that shit, dude. I'm sorry you got caught up in your Brazilian side of it. That I don't know if it's any worse, but I can't say. But don't feel alone, man. We all have to deal with that, the bullshit side of things. You know what? Now, while we're on the fucking topic, I would like to talk about something in particular. Videos I'm really getting tired of seeing are hidden gems videos. I fucking hate hidden gems videos because so often the video is showing me games that are not hidden gems whatsoever. It's like, that's not really a hidden gem. I mean, if you're at all familiar with the console, then you know about that game. That's a cheapie. Like, to me, a hidden gem is a game that you rarely, if ever, see, that didn't get a lot of press, and, oh, God, I think those are the two major parameters. It's like, it's a game that's rarely seen and didn't get any press whatsoever. And so often in these hidden gems videos, that is not the case at all. They basically find a game that they bought for like $5. It's one of those cheapies that you always find whenever you go out shopping. They're almost as common as sports titles for the Sega Genesis, because there's a plethora of fucking sports games on the Sega Genesis, or the Mega Drive if you prefer. I don't know if the UK got such a vast array of sports games as the U.S., but or any other region for that matter. Like, I don't know if Japan was like, fuck, we don't know what to do with all these sports games. Holy shit, I talked about Japan and mimicked a Japanese person without doing the stereotypical, like I don't know what to do. I'm kind of surprised that wasn't my first response. I guess I'm evolving as a person to not do stereotypical bullshit as often, although I just did it. But I did that for comparison's sake. I don't think that counts. That's beside the fucking point. The thing is that I'm really getting sick and fucking tired of hidden gems videos. I think a lot of people just do hidden gems videos because they know a lot of people are like looking for these little games that people haven't really talked about very much. They're not the go-to standards whenever somebody talks about a particular console, like the Dreamcast. Anybody who talks about the Dreamcast, at some point they're gonna have to talk about Sonic Adventure. They're gonna have to talk about Resident Evil Code Veronica. They're gonna have to talk about the Quake Arena. They're gonna have to talk about all these fucking games. The Sega arcade ports, so many that went to the system. They're going to talk about Shenmue. It's not a standard. They want to find the cheap ass games. And hopefully it's something really, really good that they haven't played. Or, you're one of those poor bastards that, I say poor bastards in quotes because really, you're not poor. If you have, you're one of those poor bastards, quote, that has like every major fucking title for said console. And then you're like, I need something new for my Dreamcast. I need something I haven't played yet. I need to add to my collection. Because having 100 games just isn't enough. Having 100 of the best fucking games ever made. No, I need more. If you're one of those guys, then yeah. But so many of the hidden gems videos are such bullshit. And I'm like, that is not a hidden fucking gem. Okay? That is not a hidden gem at all. Even Astle. I remember somebody telling me that Astle for the Sega Saturn, which was one of their early launch games, was like a hidden gem. I'm like, not really. I mean, sure, it didn't get any press when it came out. Not many people cared because it was just another 2D game at a time when 3D was supposed to be like the next level, and we weren't seeing much in the way of 3D. So yeah, Astle got some shit because it's like, oh, it's more of the same, and here this is supposed to be the next-gen console. You're expecting me to spend $400 on a system that gives me only 2D games. You can go suck a dick, and blah, I'll wait for my Nintendo so I can do the plumber thing, good for you, and then wait for eons for the best fucking Zelda game. As far as I'm concerned, it's still the best Zelda game, the Ocarina of Time. I say it's the best because that's the one that actually had me hooked from beginning to end. The earlier games couldn't do that. But yeah, so yeah, if you make videos and shit like that, and I know I have a lot of YouTubers on my fucking channel that, love talking about video games, and that's all well and fine. Do me a fucking favor, or at least think about this. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do your own channel the way you fucking like, okay? That's your fucking privilege. You have your own channel. You should do with it what you want. But let me just tell you this. A friendly piece of fucking advice. If you're going to do a Hidden Gems video, make sure they're fucking hidden gems, okay? They're not, don't go on there and do something like, I don't know, fuck, I can't even think of a great example right off the top of my head. I mean, like, for me, my idea of a hidden gem would be like Thunderstrike 2. It's a fairly common game, but not many people talk about that. Go hunt down, videos for Thunderstrike 2 on Saturn. You don't see a whole hell of a lot of them. It's like people just don't want to talk about it. And to me, that's a bigger deal because the first Thunderstrike had come out in the Sega CD, and it was one of the best fucking games for the console, I feel. I mean, it really felt like a game. It had some great sprite scaling and rotation effects. That's sweet. They should have stuck with that, I think. And having the sequel on Saturn is awesome, but when people talk about flight sims, Thunderstrike 2 is not one of the first games I ever hear coming out of somebody's mouth. I'll sooner hear somebody talk about Wing Arms than I hear Thunderstrike 2. Which is fucking tragic. But, not that Wing Arms is totally bad, but it gets a little monotonous, and damn, once you get to the one level where there's, caverns and shit like that, the collision is a little wonky. It just doesn't work entirely. A good concept and decent execution, but you have to work through some problems in order to get a good game out of that. But I digress. If you're going to do hidden gems, make sure they're fucking hidden gems. Make sure that they're they're kind of obscure. Do something like that. I mean, sure, once it comes out of the limelight, it ceases to be a hidden gem. But just do something really well thought out. Don't just throw on I found this game for $10. What is it? Sega Rally. Oh, well, that's a hidden gem. I'm like, no, it's not. So don't do that sort of shit, okay? Just do me that favor. I mean, if you're going to do a hidden gems video, fine. But just put some thought behind it. But then again, what the fuck am I saying? Most of the YouTubers I talk to, guys like Sega of my house now, he checks out my channel regularly, it seems, and that's awesome. He's a good guy. I haven't really seen him do a Hidden Gems video. Then again, he's made way more videos than I have, at least as far as when compared to Mastercast TV's channel. So I don't know if he's done anything like that yet. I haven't scoured his entire video catalog, but yeah, if any of you guys are going to do a Hidden Gems video, just really put some thought behind that shit. I'm getting tired of seeing these guys do that shit, and I'm just sitting there going, really? That's a hidden gem? Are you fucking kidding? Every Saturn fan has that fucking game, or covets it in some form or fashion. But, anywho, damn, my coffee's starting to get cold. I better hurry this shit up. Alright, Acidonia 150 writes again. Again, when I was throwing out suggestions for movies that should become video games, one of them was The Running Man. Acidonia 150 writes, Smash TV is pretty much The Running Man. It's sort of got a 3D sequel that has never been emulated for arcades called The Grid. Smash TV also inspired the Monday Night Combat series and the Killing Game show / Fatal Rewind on the Mega Drive. I haven't heard of that game. I'll actually have to look for that shit. I'm curious now. Thank you, Acidonia, for the suggestion there. I know it wasn't meant as a suggestion, but still, I'm kind of like, that sounds good. Oh, Silverwings21, regular listener. Hey, man, how you doing? All right, you wrote, I'd say the last great beat 'em up. I said, like, Die Hard Arcade was like the last great beat 'em up. He replies with, I'd say the last great beat 'em up was Zombie Revenge for the Dreamcast. To answer that first, because he has another thing there. To answer that, I really do love Zombie Revenge. I think it's a damn good game. It's definitely a favorite beat 'em up, but it wouldn't be high on my list in retrospect. I don't feel it's a. I don't know. The control wise, it just doesn't feel as smooth to me as when I play like Die Hard Arcade or any one of the classic beat 'em ups, like the Streets of Rage series, for example, or even some of the Konami games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist on Sega Genesis. It just also I feel it kind of goes on too long. I feel Zombie Revenge is a little too long. I know a lot of people, like I said this in my review for Die Hard Arcade, people feel that Die Hard Arcade is too short, and like I could beat it in 21 minutes. I don't see that as being a problem. The fun factor is so high, I'll want to play it again. I said that in the fucking video. So I don't care if a game is short as long as it's fucking fun, and if it has replay value, and especially with something like Die Hard Arcade, I feel it has replay value up the ass because it's just fun to beat people up in that game. It's great, and the story is fucking hysterical. It's like after you get your bit of excitement, then you get this video, and it's some weird looking motherfucker by the name of White Fang going like, I don't care about Octopus. It always sounds like he says, I don't care about the octopus. Where's the general's daughter? I'm like, that's what it sounds like to me. Where's the I don't care about the octopus? I don't care about the octopus. That'd be funny if that's what he's actually saying. But maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe Zombie Revenge was the last great beat 'em up. Yeah, I mean, for me, I like when I think of great, it's like Die Hard Arcade is great. I would say Zombie Revenge is like really good. I know that's like splitting fucking hairs, but that's what I think. I mean, but honestly, I think it was the last, good beat 'em up. I mean, I know we've had some hybrids of the beat 'em up genre since, but I don't know. To me, it will just never be quite as great as some of those games, like Die Hard Arcade. But if you hear that distant, sound in the back, that's my laundry going. This is why you should have shit like sitting on the fucking table or something. But I'm on the floor today. Silverwings21 also writes, I had an NES growing up. First console I forgot. That was Christmas 89-90. Next console I got was the Sega Genesis. Had to be Christmas of 91 because it came with Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, that's nice. The first bit of Sega, that's pretty cool. I just didn't get the, again, my family just was not a Nintendo household. My brother was knee deep in Sega's dick. Right up their ass when the Master System came out because he loved their arcade games so much. So, it's like I never got that experience. I kind of envy you that. Who knows? Maybe my gaming taste would have been different, but my brother just loved arcade games, and so did my mom because she was of the generation. I mean, she was the generation that got to see Pong become popular, and got into video games there. Like one of her favorite games was Phoenix. So then you have then she just put that on my brother, and my brother was like, I love games too. And then before you know, he's getting an Atari 2600 and a ColecoVision, all that shit. It's awesome. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe my taste would have been different, but I just came from the arcade generation, really, not the console generation. Now that's what I'd say. But no, good comment, man. Good comment. Darth Sarkin once again. Yes, man. He writes the Running Man flamethrower. I was talking about Spaceballs and how they had all this merchandising and shit. I would love that. The Running Man flamethrower. I think that would work. If you could try the call-in thing, I think that would be cool. I know Jerry Terrifying did something similar with Mondo Cool, as he would use an internet chat room as he did his show. Was fun to interact as the show progressed. Could be the Sega version of Coast to Coast. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I remember I actually used to post my videos early on with Jerry Terrifying. Jerry Terrifying was a cool guy. Very cool guy. I haven't been to Mondo Coolcast in forever. I wonder where the hell that is. I wonder what's been happening since I stopped kind of posting my videos. Like, once I got into SegaBits.com, I basically jumped ship from Mondo Coolcast. Before, it was kind of like a three-way venture, but over time, I'm like, yeah, you know what, this feels bad. I'm not really doing anything for Mondo Coolcast anymore, so eventually I dropped it. And Sloth Machine, or Sloth Machines. Sloth Machines has been with me since my life was Sega days. He's always been cool about. He's actually made T-shirts for me, which is kind of funny. He's been one of the first guys to do T-shirts for me. That was the first time a fan started sending me shit. I'm like, really? I have fans that want to send me stuff? No, I think the first thing he ever sent me was a Night Trap T-shirt. Cool guy. But, yeah, if he has a shop, he got to send me the link. If you're listening to this, Sloth Machine, send me the fucking link, and I will gladly advertise your shit for free. Anyway, he writes, which one did he send first? Damn. You mentioned T-shirts. Do you have some Mastercast TV shirts? Need some? I'll send you one when I get a chance to screen print one. If you ever need just a few for like a convention, I could give you some at Coast to Coast. Yeah. I simply responded to him with, he's a great guy, obviously. But he did post something here that was not T-shirt related. He left a response on my first video podcast for when I was talking about the 32X, and it showed like a 1 second clip of Panzer Dragoon tech demo for the 32X, and I believe that's what it is. And for 1 second, you get a glimpse, but it looked very basic, very Shadow Squadron, damn, I'll have to repost that. But anyway. But no, I had to respond to the T-shirt thing. Like, no, I don't have any T-shirts. Seriously, who would wear them besides me? Only 130 some odd people watch my show. Sadly, I can't really afford conventions these days, and my day job is terrible in regards to time off requests. I really appreciate the offer, though. You rock, man. You do. Then he wrote later. I also forgot to mention I don't comment much these days, but man, I do watch. So glad you are still on fire with content and it's still Sega based. Since you did the 32X wish list, I'm sure you will eventually do the Saturn and Dreamcast. Top Skater for arcade is a guilty pleasure of mine. That skateboard controller always caught my attention, and I remember reading that Sega was considering a Saturn port. It would have worked well with the 3D controller. Also, the Dreamcast to a wish list is huge. Pretty much every game Sega released when they went first party was meant to be Dreamcast projects. Panzer Dragoon Orta, Jet Set Radio Future, Crazy Taxi 3, Toe Jam and Earl 3, Virtua Fighter 4, Gun Valkyrie, Billy Hatcher, Shinobi, which is a very underrated reboot in my opinion. That's what he says, not me. I haven't played it. U.S. release of Headhunter, Rez, and Shenmue 2. The list goes on. Instead, Sega spread all these games across 3 fucking consoles. But that's for another show entirely. Very true. I actually had an Xbox just so I could get some of those games, but then I decided, you know what, I never played my fucking Xbox. And also, so many games I bought for the goddamn thing. And here, going to good shops, many of them were scratched. I don't understand what it is. So many Xbox games I came across were scratched all to hell. So it was like Panzer Dragoon Orta. I had a copy of that, right? Here I open up the fucker, and I paid like $25-$30 for that damn thing, and it came complete. They said it was very good condition. Their idea of very good condition somehow equaled a shit fuck ton of surface scratches, and it skipped through the fucking movie. It was just a fucking pain in the ass. And that happened again too with Shenmue 2. I got to a certain point, then it started skipping, all hell. Because I looked at the disc, and if you look closely, there was actually 3 really deep gashes. And I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? Like, every game I get, like, I'm very anal retentive about scratches. If you tell me it's in very good condition and minimal surface scratches, minimal is like, to me, like maybe 15 to 20. Minor surface scratches. But if you say minimal surface scratches and it has like 3 deep gashes and so many fucking surface, like little surface scratches that I can't even fucking count them, then that goes beyond minimal, motherfucker, okay? Just stop it. Stop fucking lying to sell me your product, okay? We are collectors, god damn it. No, you know what? I wouldn't want to fuck somebody over like that. You know, it's like, especially if you're like somebody like me, where buying a video game, even a retro one, at a reduced price when compared to like a first run title today, it's kind of like a luxury. I'm like, ooh, can I spend $30? Well, am I still gonna have money for groceries? That's how I still plan shit. So when you fuck me over like that, it really pisses me off. It's like, great, I spent $30 on a game I can't really play. Like that happened when I got Corpse Killer for the Sega Saturn. Again, I was told minimal surface scratches, but no, fuck ton. And I do mean a fuck ton. I cannot enunciate that any stronger. Fuck ton of surface scratches and deep gashes. And here, told me, very good condition. Go fuck yourself. And that was like $25 after shipping. I'm like, $25 for a game I can't play. You suck. You basically got $25 for free. And you can go to fucking hell. It just fucking kills me, man. And that happened twice. Twice with Corpse Killer. It's like nobody gave a shit about Corpse Killer, so they just scratched the discs all to fuck hell. Blows my fucking mind. But, oh boy. Back on track. Oh, Andy, forgot to mention, you talking about Die Hard Arcade and Dynamite Deca made me think of the sequel for Dreamcast. Did you ever take your Dreamcast online back then? In fact, that could be a whole podcast subject, Dreamcast Online Memories. Anyway, Sega was ahead of the game and offered DLC for its games in 1999 for free. Yeah, that shit would never fly today. Dynamite Deca, or Dynamite Deca 2, or Dynamite Cop, had an unlockable character that you could only download to your VMU via online, a clever way of encouraging console owners to use the 56K modem attached. The secret character was Chris Thompson, the playable girl from Die Hard Arcade, just one of many exclusive online goodies it offered then. Beyond the poor decisions, I always think of the cool-ass things Sega did back then to help evolve gaming. In my opinion, everything that is modern about console gaming today can all be traced back to the Dreamcast, built-in modem, online multiplayer, first MMORPG, first console with DLC, so on and so forth. You know what? I totally agree, and that's one of the reasons I fucking hate Dreamcast. No, look, I do love the Dreamcast. People have heard me speak about the Dreamcast before. And how, of all the consoles, I feel it's the weakest. Not so much in terms of, visuals and sound. The resolution is high. The graphics look stunning. More often than not. I mean, sure, there are some games that really don't take advantage of the hardware. I feel they just look like sharper Nintendo 64 games. But the sound is fantastic. It has some great games. That's one of the things that saves the fucking Dreamcast for me, is that it had a great library of fucking games. But one of the things I've grown to dislike about the Dreamcast is what a harbinger of fucking doom that thing is. It really is. The aside from my difficulties with the GD-ROM, my dislike for the controller, and ultimately my dislike for their utilization of the VMU, such as the battery life, and really there aren't that many games that really take advantage of the goddamn thing. That's another thing I really don't like about it, is because of the built-in modem, the online multiplayer, the DLC, all that shit. It was a harbinger of doom. That was like the beginning of the end. That's when I realized, oh my god, game consoles are going to become more and more like PCs, and I'm really going to fucking hate it. Because now you don't get a whole hell of a lot of DLC nowadays for free. And much of the crap that DLC supporters would argue, or people that would argue digital over physical. Oh no, you could just re-download it with the hard drive. And I'm like, no, it doesn't fucking work that way. Tell that to the motherfuckers that downloaded Afterburner Climax on PSN. We don't have a fucking physical copy, and yet if we lose that hard drive, we can't get Afterburner Climax again. So, I'm sorry, but digital over physical will win every fucking time, because if you actually take care of your shit, you will have that game for as long as you fucking live. And the same with like my fucking VHS tapes. Those actually degrade with every time that I watch them. People say the same thing of vinyl records, but you know what? If you take care of those, they will last you as long as you live. With digital, that's some unseen force, some asshole saying, well, we don't have the license, or perhaps we don't want to support this anymore because we want to put money into something else. Well, fucking you over. So I'm sorry, that's my stance on digital versus physical. Digital versus physical, excuse me. Can't talk. But it's like the whole thing with taking the game online. I'll come across a game that I really enjoy, but it will be like online multiplayer only. I'm like, fuck you. I want the person sitting next to me. That way, if they start doing that bullshit where, say, we're playing a fighting game and they're keeping me tight in the fucking corner, just keeping me down so I can't even get in a fucking hit, I can hit the person next to me. I'm not a big fan of online multiplayer. Then I really don't have anybody that lives far away from me, like that I would want to play online. And also, I don't have a lot of time to get online these days with video games and shit. It's like if I'm playing a game, I'm often doing it for a review or capturing footage just for the fuck of it to see if I can beat the goddamn game. So, really, I hate online multiplayer because in many ways it's replaced local multiplayer. And I'm sorry, I'd rather play a game with Mickey Mac or my girlfriend or my mother. Like, my mom can still get in and play games. I'd rather play locally. I don't want to play online with fucking strangers. More often than not. I mean, sure, I have some fans on here that would be fun, but really, no, I want local multiplayer. That's my big thing. Like, if I'm going to do multiplayer, the motherfucker better be sitting next to me. I don't like this online multiplayer replacing local multiplayer because I feel it's done that in quite a few games. DLC, I really, I just liked it better when people made sequels. DLC I find a pain in the ass, especially after the whole Street Fighter 4 debacle, which was bullshit, or anything with Capcom really concerning DLC. It's like they changed their fucking mind. It's like, we're taking that away from you. Excuse me? So, again, you can't get it back. It's like, really, it's one of the things I dislike about the Dreamcast. It was a harbinger of doom in many respects. It kind of symbolized Sega's end, which is kind of sad because I think it did introduce some great ideas. And really, if they hadn't had such trouble in North America, what with the failed launch of the Saturn, because it really wasn't launched very well. The Dreamcast looked like it had a fantastic launch, although I've heard some people say it had a terrible launch. I'm like, are you kidding me? It had a shit ton of games, and a bunch of people bought the fucking thing on day one. People pre-ordered the fuck out of that, and that was in spite of Sega's troubles with the Saturn and the 32X and shit. So I don't know what people are talking about when Dreamcast had a failed North American launch. Maybe because it just didn't sell enough, I guess. But I thought there was like supply and demand problems when that thing came out. Am I wrong? If I am, please feel free to set me straight. But I feel like Dreamcast could have been really, really fucking great, and it would have been ahead of the game. But if only they had released it with like a DVD player, then it would have been some solid competition for the PS2. Because really, a lot of people bought a PS2 based solely on the strength of the first PlayStation, and the fact that the second one could play all those games, plus it had a fucking DVD player in it. That was a big proponent. It's like, wow, I can play all my old PS1 games, and I get a DVD player in the process. Which I guess was good, because really, Lord knows we weren't playing those first launch games. Really, it took a few months for the PS2 to actually have a PS2 game I wanted to play. I really, was itching to play. But that's beside the point. Yeah, it is kind of sad. Dreamcast had some neat shit for it, but Sega had some neat shit for the Dreamcast. I think it had some good ideas. I just don't think they were executed particularly well. And really, I just hated how, in many respects, looking back on it now. At the time, I thought it was revolutionary. I thought it was like, whoa, really, online and blah blah blah. Now I see what that has led to, and I fucking hate it. Don't get me wrong, I own a fucking PS3 and shit like that. My girlfriend is itching to get a PS4. I really don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck about modern gaming at all. I'm more intrigued by the Nintendo NX, just because it is supposed to be a righteous game console. Where, yeah, I have my PS3. I love it to pieces, but at the same time, I hate it because yeah, I have a bunch of games for it, but every now and then, if I don't play them for a while, I have to go through and download a fucking patch for it for whatever fuck reason. There's a lot of elements I won't see because I refuse to pay for fucking downloadable content. I feel like if it was that fucking good, it should have been in the game in the first place. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. The downloadable content has to be fucking amazing for me to even consider spending more money on a fucking game that I already paid for. And because again, it's not like I pirate shit. I buy the games when they come out. Seriously, I get more enjoyment out of a $30 game from the Sega Saturn than I do from a $60 game for the PS3 these days. So, yeah, it's not really worth it to me. But the thing is that really the PS3, I use it more for Netflix than anything else and playing my Blu-rays. I don't really play a whole hell of a lot of games on there because it's just not instant gratification anymore. Console gaming was all about instant gratification in the past. And if you wanted to have like the premium experience, you became a PC gamer, and that's all well and fine. Yeah, you can spend however much you want on your fucking graphics cards and shit like that and make this banging arcade style or even amazing, like fucking amazing. Not to put down what they do, but still, that's more money and time than I care to put into a gaming machine. I like the instant gratification of having a game console. And really, I love those games that you can just pick up and play. You don't have to wait for the goddamn computer to warm up and boot, all that kind of crap, or find that for whatever reason you downloaded this new operating system that now conflicts with your games, and now you need to get a fucking patch and all this bullshit. I don't want to deal with anything like that. That's why I love consoles. That's not what console gaming is anymore. They're just glorified, underpowered PCs, and it pisses me off. Because they've missed the goddamn point of console gaming. It's kind of like, it's just a console trying to be like, hey, I can PC too. And it's like, yeah, great, good for you. I don't know. I think I'm just too old now. I think I'm just too old. I'm the wrong audience now. I'm too old for gaming. Every now and then I see a game for a new console, and I'm like, that looks exciting. But at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to deal with that shit? Do I really want to watch that progress bar? As it uploads and installs on my hard drive, taking room away from other shit, only to tell me, like, hey, your hard drive's almost full. Fuck, what do I do? I don't know. Don't mind me, I'm rambling now. And now that I'm rambling, I think this is the perfect time to fucking end the episode. And, oh shit, my laundry just finished. So that's perfect fucking timing. But let me just say thank you again for listening to Mastercast Radio on Mastercast TV. How weird. But again, if you have any questions or comments, I'm sure I'm going to get some from folks defending modern gaming and telling me I need to grow the fuck up or get over it, what have you, which is fine. I'll just blow you off. I'm kidding. I may not. I may respond to it. Depends on my mood. I'll try not to get all like, oh, fuck you. Sadly, I'm a misanthrope. That's sometimes my first reaction. It's like, go fuck yourself. You don't like my opinion, listen to some other jackass. But anyway, again, thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out Die Hard Arcade if you haven't already. Also, I made a video where it combines my reviews for Die Hard's trilogy and arcade into one video. So if you want to get the full experience, then be sure you can put aside 16 minutes and 40 seconds to watch the full video. Otherwise, Die Hard Arcade, that video is only 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So it's a shorter experience. If you've already seen Die Hard Trilogy, go ahead and just check out Die Hard Arcade solo. You want to watch both of them? Watch Die Hard Complete. But thank you very much. And as per usual on Mastercast Radio, I will leave you with a parting tune.